everybody, and welcome to another edition of On a Couch Talking Sports, social distancing edition. As always, I'm Robbie, joined virtually once again by Kyle. Kyle, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. This is a very different way of doing on a couch, but this is really cool. Look at this. I can now show people that I've been watching Smallville. It's amazing. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So you'll probably notice, folks, that Kyle is actually here in person via video. We finally figured it out how to actually make Kyle appear via video, not just over audio like last time. But yeah,
my invisible movements. Thank you.
yeah, exactly. And I'm still in a chair. You're still on the couch. You're actually on a couch, so it's perfect. At least one of us is actually sticking to the episode title and all this. Yeah. But it's all good. So what we want to do for tonight's episode is, obviously, we've talked about sports in a lot of different contexts, and we've also, if you've watched a past episode, we have talked about sports food. That we eat at different arenas and ballparks and stuff like that. Yeah. But tonight what we wanted to talk about is, on the home front, what kind of foods do we like to eat while we are watching sports at home? Because there's a lot of different foods that, you kind of eat for different sporting events depending on the occasion. So we wanted to sort of jump into that. I think the biggest one, obviously, the biggest event each year that people, really have get-togethers for and have food is the Super Bowl. So I think that's a perfect place, Kyle, to start off with, is sort of when it comes to the Super Bowl, which was just, a month or two ago, although it seems much longer given this time frame that we're in. But sort of for the Super Bowl, when you watch the game or have get-togethers around that particular game, what are some of your favorites that you tend to sort of throw out for, or sort of dine on during that time?
Well, for Super Bowl, I am actually a huge fan myself of, I'm in the classic, like, corn chips and salsa, like Tostitos, like that kind of thing. I also love doing, now I don't really make it, but I know my sister actually makes a really good buffalo chicken dip too, so
Ooh.
I think that's a really good really good thing to have with it. And also I like these I just got these cookies today, actually. I'll show them to you right now, right here.
Oh, yummy. I could taste them from here.
So yeah, I'm a big fan of and I'm a pretty big beer person myself, so I do partake in the consumption of alcohol during a Super Bowl, so I'm okay with. Super Bowl's pretty chill, so I feel like especially when you go to that, there's a lot of different kinds of foods and drinks you can do with that. So anywhere between like beer, cookies. I remember, I think at my cousin's house they had like homemade chocolate chip cookies, which was
yummy.
Oof. And I guess like hot dogs, pizza, chicken fingers, just the classics.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I'm right in the same boat there with you. Chips, boneless wings, desserts, just all different types of good stuff when it comes to Super Bowl. You can't really go wrong, I feel like, with Super Bowl dishes. There's so many different things you could put out. It's all probably going to be good. And even just like, I feel like for football games in general, like that's the time that I feel like I sort of like have the most like sort of festive, like food-based gatherings, is like when I'm watching football, like Patriots, college. It's just sort of football and like tailgating and like eating food at home just always seem to mix in very well. And it really seems like that sort of seems to be the go-to sport for people, dining in while they're watching. And so even in pizza too. Pizza's also a really good one to eat while you're watching football. So, but there's just so many different ways you can go about it.
Yes, no, I agree. You're right. Pizza. I completely forgot about that. pizza ranging from like buffalo chicken flavored, just yeah, it's all good. Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I mean, even for other sports as well, like, if you're watching any type of game, I feel like for baseball, hot dogs obviously is a good in ballpark and at home food to sort of dine on, but also pizza as well. I mean, I feel like pizza goes best with like any sporting event or like a dessert type thing, or like chips go off like any sporting event. I mean, nachos, like you really, those types of foods, I feel like spread
Yeah,
along again any sporting event that you're watching, Kyle, like can go hand in hand.
yeah, no, you're right. I completely forgot about nachos too. Nachos is like the ultimate Super Bowl food for me. Like, or even when you get those like layered dips. Have you had those layered dips? It has like
Yeah, a couple
guacamole,
times. Yeah,
sour cream, and salsa. Oh, it's so good. Mm.
yeah, it's true.
Layered.
Yeah, no, it's very true. And obviously, being sort of a foodie, just again, any any type of food, sort of any type of sporting event, um, I'm there for. Yeah, I can't really think of any sporting events that you really wouldn't sort of eat food while watching. I mean, I think you can kind of do it with anything.
Yeah, that's true. Any kind of sporting events. I feel like sometimes there's certain kind of foods there that work really well with baseball in the summer. Like when I think of summer food, I think of like hot dogs and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Um,
lemonade, like sort of things like
mhm.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, even like my ultimate favorite summer food. Let me tell you, is frozen whoopie pies. When you go to the Cape Cod Baseball League, I know I think it's the Hyannis, the not sorry not Mets, the Harbor Hawks.
Harbor Hawks. Yeah,
What they're called now. I keep calling them Mets because they used to be the Mets.
yeah. No, I got it.
But they I think it was their field that they had like literally frozen whoopie pies like from the bag, and they took them out of the freezer, and it tasted fantastic. Oh, loved it.
And you could probably do that at home too if you can, buy them in a store somewhere. They probably would taste just as good if you freeze them at home and take them out and eat them while
Oh,
watching a game too.
like, mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, popcorn too. Popcorn also tastes good with any sporting event or with any movie for that matter.
Mhm.
Popcorn is for the universal TV watching food. I
Yeah.
feel like, especially at these times, where watching TV is makes up a large part of people's days, depending on who you are.
Yeah.
So, any other sort of favorites or sort of any examples of like sporting events that you've watched from home, or you've had besides the Super Bowl, you've had a really big like feast and like foods that really sort of stick out to you?
Um. Well. Honestly, I think out of all the sports, so the sports for me that are most prevalent for food, especially, are I'd say when going to baseball games, especially when you go see like a Red Sox game. For me, one of the most I'm gonna kind of hone in on Fenway Park a little bit here because Fenway Park actually kind of really diversified
Yeah, but we're
their
talking about at home. We're talking about at home.
what am I saying at home? I know we can. That'll be another episode. We'll talk about we'll talk about Fenway Park food another time, or just maybe like stadium food or whatever.
Well,
But no, I would say
we have talked about that before.
we did. When
Yeah,
did we do that?
we've done an episode a while ago about Fenway Park, about like stadium foods and like stuff like that. I know we have. I know we've touched on it.
Oh, we did. Yeah, that's fair. So no, you're right. That's right. I forgot that it was bought at home. So I would say yeah. Out of homemade wings. My
Yeah.
family's they're about making like homemade wings and stuff like that. My sister makes really good actually homemade ribs too, which
Mm.
I've eaten like with my family, and we'd watch either football or baseball while that was going on. So Yeah, I think most of the important food for me, like at home, see, the thing is, I feel like I don't watch sports as much during the summer and like winter and summer, but like during the fall, I would say especially, I think that's the
Yeah.
biggest time, especially when it comes to like watching football games in general, not just the Super Bowl, but any football game. I feel like there's oh my former roommate actually made these fantastic cheeseburger subs. Oh, that was great. I
Oh, I know you and cheeseburger subs. You do tend to enjoy those.
do. I love them.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, there's not much more left to be said. I feel like about sports foods at home because I mean, like there's so I feel like you can sort of apply many of the ones we've talked about to like many different sporting events that you can watch at home. So yeah, it just it's all good. It's all good when it comes to food and sports. It's all good usually. Um, but yeah, and obviously, like I said, the Super Bowl is the big one. I feel like where most people like sort of tend to pig out, so to speak, on
Yeah,
food and stuff like that. So
that's the
um,
ultimate food and music kind of event. I feel
yeah,
like you get your food, get your music, you got it all. It's with the football.
and I feel like you have your like biggest gatherings for like the Super Bowl and stuff like that, so that causes there to be, the most amount of food to partake in.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we're now going to sort of move on to the end portion of our episode, and we're going to jump right into another edition of the Sue's Reviews. Yes, I don't know why I just said it like that, but anyway, yeah. So let me throw it to my buddy Kyle with the Sue's Reviews. Take it away.
All right. So just a quick little thing though. Just if you guys have any cool food ideas that maybe that we didn't mention, or
Yeah.
maybe something that you guys make at home, so feel free to drop it in the comments or Facebook or whatever. So, um, but yeah. So on to the review. So I wanted to actually review something I haven't reviewed before. I've never really touched upon TV shows. So I had just finished this series with my friend Jerome, and you guys have known. I know you guys know Jerome from
The mini golf.
mini golf
Yes. Yeah.
back in which is almost last year. Now I think about, geez.
Yeah. Ooh, long time.
All right. Where so we finished a show called Russian Doll. So it's a limited series on Netflix. It stars Natasha Lyonne, and it's basically about her waking up on basically on the same night. For it has like a very Groundhog Day kind of premise, and it's yeah. I know we were mentioning about Groundhog Day before, and I feel like it's a perfect show to watch, especially for now. Like because maybe like you said, Robbie, your days do kind of feel like Groundhog Day. So
Yeah,
um,
they really do.
the one thing Russian Doll is a little bit ironic in that way, but it's it's a fantastic show. Now the thing is, I won't get too much into the story because it's one of those series that the less you know, the better. It has a very interesting setup, and you think it has kind of like a Groundhog Day type of setup, and it's about this girl who's really trying to kind of figure out her life, and every day she starts at the night of her birthday party that's thrown by her friend. But then all these like weird things start to happen and they unfold, and that's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to spoil like I said, it's one of those shows that you just got to go right into, and it engrossed me. It's one of those rare series that it it's a mix of funny, dramatic, even a little bit of scary. It's just I don't think I've ever seen a show like it, and just when you think you know where it's gonna go, it goes in its own direction, and I really appreciate it for that. And I gotta say, Natasha Lyonne really makes the series. She's the star. She wrote it too, actually, and produced it, I believe, with Amy Poehler. Fun fact, from SNL fame. And I think it's just a really very interesting series. Like her character is amazing. It's only 8 episodes. They're about 20 minutes each. So, I mean, these days you could really fly through that whole series. And I heard they are going to get a second season. But this season was incredible. I thought the actors were great. And Natasha Lyonne is just really funny. She just has a lot of great lines in it. So if you're looking for a good series to watch on Netflix, go with Russian Doll. Please, you will not be disappointed.
Nice, nice. Well, yeah, I mean, we were off the air. We were sort of chatting earlier, Kyle and I, about how, yeah, all these days are starting to feel like Groundhog Day, and it's kind of true. And so that seems like the perfect sort of show to describe our current life in a sense. But yeah, so now it's sort of time for my final thought. It's kind of tough to have a final thought when there's no sports. But basically, my final thought is that there's no sports, and we're just sort of making the best of it. Especially for our show. We still have some good creative ideas. One of which we actually was thought up tonight. Got to give a shout out to Jerome as well for coming up with an episode idea that we'll definitely be using in the future. But we're not going to give it away at this point. But definitely want to give a credit to him where credit's due. But yeah, unfortunately, no sports. But we're gonna just keep chugging along, and they'll be back someday, and it'll be a great day. So that's going to wrap up this edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. For Kyle, actually in person this time, I'm Robbie, signing off here for On a Couch Talking Sports. We will see you next time here on A Couch Talking Sports. Goodbye, everybody.